Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whichever one applies to you. I am RJ Williams, Director of Operations for the Green Crystal Technologies Cooperative Marketplace. I thank each and every member for your involvement in this cooperative, and I thank you for watching this instructional video. I am continuing on to talk about how to use Basecamp, the application, to go ahead and navigate all of our transactions in a compliant, transparent way. Okay. So Basecamp is a project management and engagement platform that will provide each of us as members one place to initiate, contract, and track all transactions in progress from stage to stage and in real time. And that is what this video alludes to. We're going to take you to the section in Basecamp where we have also purposed the production or creation of a project within the Basecamp system and purposing it on how you can track and have a bird's eye view of the progress of a transaction that is pertinent to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and take you there. As always, when you go to basecamp.com, you're going to go and click that sign in button in the upper right hand corner. Once you put in your email address and the password you created upon the time that I invited you to this particular group, it'll take you to your dashboard. Okay. And as you know, in the last series of videos, we talked about how this materials marketplace, this section, we made a project that's essentially what this is, and the materials marketplace, we told you all about how to go ahead and navigate through that, how buyers and sellers and their representatives can engage with each other to initiate, you know, transactions. Okay. So we're also using this also as a way to go ahead and track transactions. So we made a project, and so we're using it or purposing it to go ahead and track each and every one of the transactions that are in progress that you are a party to. Okay. Transparent. Everybody can see it. Everybody can give feedback. And let's go ahead and go into it. So you click into it. And basically, we really not going to go ahead and focus on the message board and the campfire because they're pretty much purposed the same way in the materials marketplace. You use it the same way here. If there's any information you want to share, you can create a message, share it with people. The same for the campfire section. What we're going to go ahead and do is really focus on purposing a project in Basecamp created to track a transaction on these two windows, the transaction progress pane and the docs and files section. This video is about transactions in progress. So let's click on to it. When you click into this area on any active or transaction that's in progress, it's going to take you to a transaction workflow. The list that you see here are basically names of stages that we have attached to a stage in the transaction cycle or the process of a transaction. So as it is on the back end of our administration, so we track it, we use the very same labeling on the back end as we do in the Basecamp system here for all of us on the front end. So a transactional orientation is what happens when a buy-sell agreement has been signed, and then the buyer, seller, or those representatives, they'll get on the phone with either me or Frank or both of us, and we'll set expectations. We might go over terms of the closing disclosure during this call, more than likely. But we'll find out exactly as we feel through putting in these initial transactions in the co-op exactly what the feel of the flow should be there. VAR verification is simply um, a way to go ahead and verify banking information, tax information, okay, for our sellers, okay, where is the money going to upon the time that everything has been attested to and everybody is okay on the buyer side with the materials, where's the money go? For the buyers, okay, we need that information because you need to go ahead and let us know, you know, where we would go ahead and draft, you know, that payment for the materials from, okay? And your tax information, of course. The receipt of good faith deposit payment is a step in a lot of these transactions. And then there's an order processing period. That's just basically the time where your suppliers are fulfilling that order and getting it ready for that sample shipment to be en route. Okay. The receiver of that sample shipment, the buyer, is going to go ahead and have a certain amount of time to test out that material. Okay. And we'll be waiting for a receipt of an attestation form that will provide for the buyer. The buyer will go ahead and attest that that sample is good to go, for example. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll let the supplier know that we received that attestation form. The buyer will go ahead and then get the balance basically of that shipment, the final shipment, the full shipment en route to the buyer. Okay. The same thing happens. The buyer receives the full shipment. They have 2 weeks, I think, generically, to go ahead and test all the materials. We then go ahead and we have a period here where we receive that particular attestation form and we submit that form for payment approval. Okay. Once we have our senior escrow manager go ahead and approve that payment, what's going to happen is senior escrow manager is going to go ahead and sign the attestation form in their section. It'll come back to an escrow manager as approved for payment. Okay. And so once that approval payment section comes, or that stage comes, that is when we go ahead and get the sale proceeds over to our seller supplier. We go ahead and mark it as payment completed, and that's the end of the transaction cycle. What is good about each of these sections is what we have provided for everybody for full transparency. If you were to click into any section, you'll get some notes on what's happening and what's supposed to happen in that particular stage and the steps that need to happen in order for the transaction to reach the next stage in the cycle. Okay. So for example, sample shipment and route, you'll have notes there exactly on what is supposed to be happening here. Okay. Tasks to be created and are completed before moving. The to-dos can be marked as completed. Okay. So all this stuff has to happen. These bullet points need to happen in order to take the transaction from just a sample shipment en route to the receipt of the attestation of that sample. Okay. So basically, also, it's a very granular thing as well, because if you're in a particular, for example, let's say you're in the sample shipment en route, okay, portion of the transaction process, right? Let's say something's happening right here. Let's say, for instance, the seller has gone on ahead and, you know, just added maybe the routing numbers, the tracking numbers of the packages or shipments that are coming. They can put these numbers here, for example. Add other notes that verify that, yes, this particular sample is on the way. Okay, for example. And you could just add notes and add notes. It allows everybody that's pertinent to this particular transaction to be able to keep up with it, ask questions at any point in the transaction along the way. Each of these particular sections is going to have notes on what's supposed to be happening in this part of the transaction. Everything transparent, everything letting you know what needs to happen to move it along to the next step. Okay. So that is basically how you would go on ahead and track transactions. And as a step completes, you simply click a button. You click a button, a green check mark. You'll be able to see exactly what's completed and what is left to be completed in any transaction process. So there you have it. Okay. And again, of course, if you had any questions or what have you, or if you needed to tax someone that is a part of the transaction, you needed them to do something, you needed to talk to them or anything, you can add a to do at any time you wish to. Okay. Request for a meeting, whatever you want to put here, assign it to the seller or whoever is pertinent to this deal. You know, let them know what you need. We let you know or informed you in the materials marketplace videos exactly how to assign a to do, so we won't go through that again. But that is basically it for the transaction progress pane. That is the heart of your transactions. It's where all buyers and sellers and agents and everybody pertinent to that deal can go to see where we are in the process, what is left to be done. So transparent that if you have any involvement in any of the stages of a process of the process of the transaction, you can go ahead and get in there. And if there's something that you can do to move it along, you'll have all the notes there and everything there to know exactly what's supposed to be happening during each stage within the transactions process and progress. Any questions for me, please let me know. I am more than happy to service you at any time. My contact information will be all over this particular Basecamp application. So please look out for that. The next video that we're talking about within the transaction tracking is going to be the documents and files section. And we'll get to that in the next video. Thank you for watching this one. I appreciate your time.